now watching Animal Expedition Files.
Wake up with your favorite station. Online, digital, and on your smartphone.
It's time for your favorite host.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Animal Expedition Files. It is your host, the Animal. What's up, everybody? It is good to be on a beautiful Wednesday night here in sunny Florida, which it's actually not sunny right now. It's actually raining here. But you never know what you get in Florida, which my guests in the background, which know about that because they live in Florida also, and they also know about this crazy rain we get in sunny Florida. What's up, Andrew? What's up, MK? How you guys doing? It's good to see you guys. Please follow and like and subscribe on the channel. I really appreciate it. But how's everybody doing tonight? I am excited. I am actually going on a trip in my favorite rocket ship to Russell, Massachusetts. So going to the Cobbler Critter Fest in next week, next Friday and Saturday. I will be up there actually for the whole week, staying with family and having fun, Bigfooting, and get to hang out with Bigfoot. Hopefully he'll just take me away and kidnap me, because that'd be cool, getting kidnapped by Bigfoot. I don't know about you, but I would. But be pretty fun. But hey, why don't you listen to our sponsor, Squash Juice? Check them out, because if you're like really tired like I am all the time, and you just have no energy, and you have like kids crawling on you every day, and you're just so tired, and you just have no leg to stand on, check out Squatch Juice. Check this out.
Why is everyone ditching their traditional energy drinks for Squatch Juice? Is it the delicious taste, the simple natural ingredients, the handsome mascot? Well, yes, but it's also because Squatch Juice is an incredibly healthy alternative to all those traditional energy drinks. We use natural ingredients manufactured right here in the US. We don't use any artificial flavors or dyes. We truly care about keeping our drinks as healthy and beneficial for you as possible. We've included ingredients like L-tyrosine, L-theanine, vitamins B, C's, and D's, on top of our energy blend of caffeine, teacrine, and dynamine. And because Squash Juice is a powdered energy drink, it is way more cost effective than all those other canned drinks out there. Each serving costs less than half of the typical canned energy drinks you can find at a gas station. So what are you waiting for? Follow the link in our bio and get yourself some Squatch Juice.
I don't know what happened there. Something like froze on me. Anyways, I'm gonna bring. Oh man, it's a day. I'm gonna bring my guests, my amazing good friends from Florida that go squatch hunting all the time. We call it the skunk ape here in Florida. He's a lot cooler than your Bigfoot, so we're going to talk about the skunk ape in Florida and have some fun. So let's bring on Brooke and Brittany to the show. Well, let's have a little fun and talk about some Bigfoot here. Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going?
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I don't know if you can you guys hear me really good?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So how's it going in sunny Florida? I know it's been raining here like all day today, but how are you guys doing in your area?
No rain over here.
I had rain today. Bad thunder and lightning.
Oh man, that's actually the best time, honestly, here in Florida to go squatching. Honestly, when it's like really muddy, it's lightning out, and you're in the woods, you have like literally mud up to your like knees, and like there's snakes and alligators out there, and then there's Bigfoot. Like that's like the best feeling in the world. I don't know about you, but I love it.
It's actually the best time to find good tracks.
I was going to say, yeah, I love going in at that time.
It might be my feet because I got big feet like Bigfoot, so it might be me. So who knows? Be out there playing around.
Thanks, Animal. I probably have your tracks here casted, to be honest.
Probably is. You want to know something funny about that? Like, I went to it was like a karate event at one of my kids, and you had to take your shoes off, and like it was all lined up perfectly, right? And then my shoes come off. I have boots. The freaking like everybody was laughing, like, whose shoes are those? They're like freaking size 15 shoe, and they're like, it was the biggest shoe out of everybody. It was like, I'm like, I don't know whose shoes those are. They're not mine, which they were.
That's
awesome.
funny.
But no, we're gonna have a lot of fun here. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm actually excited. I know I saw you in Ocala not too long ago, both of yous, at the Bigfoot convention that was going on. Mm-hmm. So many people there. It was a lot of people there, and that was actually a really cool experience. Just seeing so many people interested in Bigfoot and all kind of cryptids, and just seeing people dress up as Bigfoot. And it just makes me feel happy here in Florida because I know everybody like around the United States talks about Bigfoot around here, and it's not really big in Florida because no one really talks about it because there's not a lot of really Bigfoot researchers here in Florida per se. But like just go into that for once, like it kind of opened my eyes to like, holy crap, how many people here are very interested in Bigfoot? So that's why it was like very intriguing to see all those people.
I would say there's actually a lot of Bigfoot researchers in Florida. If you go to a certain spot, you're bound to run into like tons of other people. So I've definitely been trying to scout some more areas where there aren't so many folks there all the time, because sometimes it seems like a certain spot has kind of gotten a little oversaturated. So there's a lot of Bigfooters in Florida, believe it or not. The odds of running into one are quite high.
That's very true. I have to agree with Brooke. It's hard to find areas that have not been, I would say, like over investigated in certain parts, like especially through Ocala. We have a ton of people that come out here looking for Sasquatch in Ocala and the Florida Everglades. And it's just interesting to me to see that many people. So I try and find little hidden gems. What's really nice is talking to like the locals. They try and stay away from the main trails, because that's where animals just won't go anyway. So they, like, a couple of individuals are always like, let's go off the trail. I know a little spot. Like, I've seen some strange stuff. I'm like, take me there. That's where I want to go.
Yeah.
I love that.
Now I know I've had Brooke on before, and Brittany's the first time on my show. I know we were supposed to have you on a couple of times, but just things with scheduling went crazy. Kids are sick and all that stuff. But even though Brooke has said where she's from and how she got into Bigfoot, I want both of you just to explain to everybody and the listeners like where you both guys came from, how you got into Bigfooting, and how like this whole the love of cryptid, you know, that you got your passion from.
Take it away, Brooke.
Oh no, I was gonna say you go first.
Okay, fine. So mine actually started as a very, very young little girl growing up in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. My dad worked for IBM, so we started in Tucson, Arizona, and then moved to Estes Park, Colorado, where this famous Stanley Hotel is and all that. And out there, deep in the mountains, we have a lot of individuals that would talk about Sasquatch and the wild man in the woods. And like, it was always around. My father and my 4 older brothers had some strange accounts that happened to them at the back of our property. We had a 10-acre piece up on the Rockies. And so there was a night when I was around 8 years old that my dad was traveling for work. My brothers were out, and it was literally just my mom and I taking care of feeding our animals on the farm or the ranch, because we had an exotic animal ranch. And we were outside, and there was just a fence barrier between myself and my mom, and she was taking care of the llamas. And I would say, so we had like a pretty good sized front yard, that then a dirt road to the next neighboring yard. But I would say maybe 30 feet from us was whatever this was. And it let off this horrible sound deep from a gut howl that was not normal to any wildlife we knew there, from bears to dying deer. Because if you hear a deer get murdered in the woods by an animal, it sounds like a woman dying. Like bobcats are extremely bizarre. Like, we know those sounds. And when we heard this, I mean, everything on my neck stood up. I froze for a second. I had the grain and I bolted. I took off inside the house and closed the door. And then I was like, oh my God, I just left my mom out there to die, like with whatever this thing was. And then I opened the door back up and I run back to the barn. She had locked herself in, and our llamas were giving off a warning call. So whatever it was something unknown to them. And they were also warning the rest of the herd that there was something in there. We told our dad, like, it was like a big thing. And my dad was like, I'm telling you, Sasquatch is out. Like, I believe in it out there. My mom was like, me too. So ever since that night, I was like, I have to know what that is. Like, yeah. I know animals. That was no animal. Like, I have to know what that was. It was scary, but it was very like deep and human like, coming out from a stomach. It was just very deep. It was intense. And it challenged me from that very moment, coming from an animal background. And I was obsessed with Ivan Sanderson as a kid and Bernard Hovelman, and being like, I was like, that's it. I got to know more. There's more to this world than what's been told to us. And my parents were very encouraging of it. They never were like, don't do that. Don't get into that. It's so stupid or weird. Or they were very much like, well, let me tell you, I had this encounter when I was out in the deserts of Arizona. Like, it was just so cool to have these conversations. So it really sparked an interest for me. And then I just got into everything. Like, I wanted to know it all. And I just took the time to investigate and get to know the right people. And I mean, my job took me all over, working in the film industry. And it didn't matter where I was. If somebody was on set, like, oh, I think my house is haunted, they'd always be like, go talk to Brittany. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm behind the scenes like in the green room telling people how to help a haunting, you know?
That's awesome.
I loved it. And it was always a natural calling. It was like, anytime I tried to change my career, it always brought me back. And I was like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be.
That's so cool. That's really cool.
It was neat.
I love that.
I would like something like that. Like, you know, when I'm around, like, people would be like, yeah, that's the calling that you want to do. That's what you feel like your passion and where your heart should be. That's awesome.
Yeah. It got to a point where I think I was so open to it that it wouldn't matter where I was. Like, people would just come up and tell me their life story, and it would always turn into a paranormal story.
Yeah.
It was very weird. And my mom was like, this is weird. Like, why do people just come up and start talking to you about this stuff? I'm like, I don't know. Yeah. But then we end up being friends, and I'm helping them out with whatever their problem is, you know? Like, I just accepted it. And I'm grateful I did, because and I think each one of us have experienced it. Like, when you have a paranormal experience or a strange experience with something that you were told doesn't exist or isn't real, you're scared to tell somebody, because you're like, who do I tell that won't think I'm crazy? because your reality gets altered. So I liked being a voice of comfort, like someone who cared to listen and didn't judge them. So I really loved that part of it because we don't have enough of that, I think, in the field so much. We do it, I think, more a little bit now, but in like the early 2000s, late 90s, we didn't. We just didn't. And nobody was comfortable talking.
No, and plus we didn't really have the technology, if you think about it, back then too, to be able to bring that testimony to people out there like we can now. Like there's so much freaking technology with cameras and microphones and all these cool things that you can use now, and everything goes out in outer space and brings it out to the whole freaking world, like this show. Like, you know, it's like, who would have thought like this show would be listened to all around the world? It's just really cool that, you know, the voice, no matter who you are, that you bring that passion to people and you're touching every person that you could see and helping that person that needs help, because you don't know what they're going through. They could be going through like hell right now because of whatever's attached to them or the entity that's bothering them. It's just cool to be able to be that light for them in that darkness.
Yep. I agree. Brooke, it's your turn.
I don't.
Your part now.
Well, I really feel like you and I are kind of kindred spirits a little bit. I hear your background and I'm just like, you know, I see what you mean. Like, you know, people, I think when you have that energy and you're vibrating on that higher vibration and you're walking with alignment with your calling, I'm a firm believer that the universe will start aligning things, people, and places in your path that align with that calling when you're walking in your truth. So I just think that that is really cool. I just wanted to say that. But how I got into this similarly, well, I didn't have an experience as a child, but I was always really curious. I always wanted to know more. I was always into like mysteries and Nancy Drew and DB Cooper and all that stuff. So I loved it. And then I had a close family member, my grandmother, who did have a sighting, and she shared that growing up. So I always had that in the back of my mind. And then as I got older, and just like you, wanted to kind of dive into everything and figure it out, because it's so interesting, you know. I mean, gosh, everything from cryptids to aliens to these bizarre cases that make no sense, you know, missing people, all that fun stuff. And yeah, you just kind of feel called to it. Once you kind of get the bug, you just kind of dive into it, and it's been fantastic. And you know, I got to meet you guys along the way, which has been incredible, and make that connection. So yeah, it's been really cool. And now I'm out all the time doing field research and, you know, planning trips to go investigate new places and stuff like that. So it's been awesome.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Now, like, what has been you guys is like when you're in researching in the middle of the woods, especially the Everglades, which is very crazy. You guys know it, I know it, and it's very buggy out there. Like, what's the most crazy experience you've had in the Everglades with the Bigfooting, or have you seen any UFO sightings or like Dogman? I know there's a lot of Dogman sightings here, or Wolfman. They call them both, but or anything. Well, what's your guys' experience with that in the Everglades?
Go ahead, Brooke. You go first.
Well, I would go if I had an experience in the Everglades to share.
Or anywhere in Florida.
So I think that's you.
The Everglades is just a fascinating place to begin with because it's just so vast. I don't think people realize how like open area the Everglades really is. But to be honest, like I have not experienced a Bigfoot or anything of the bizarre or the Wolfman or anything like that. There's strange accounts of like bizarre type of animals being seen, like mutated animals in the Everglades, but I myself have never seen them. People have told me about them. I think the only scariest thing in the Everglades is literally when my brothers go down there and screw around and have some fun with the crocs. That's about it. Or the alligators, I should say. We have American crocs down there too, but
there's been a lot lately.
Yeah. There's for me there hasn't been any crazy experience. I know that the Sasquatch headquarters down there might say otherwise, but for me personally, nothing out of the bizarre.
What kind of mutant animals have you heard?
like weird mutation to the snakes and to the alligators that are living down there, like either extremely abnormally large, which is not really that uncommon. But like people are talking about like an alligator that can stand up.
I was gonna ask, are we taking a lizard man direction on this?
Yeah.
I was wondering about that, because they
So
say
it's
that
like aliens too, because I'm like, hold on a minute now, like, guys.
So we're
Slow down.
talking about lizard men, reptilian aliens living in the Everglades. I could maybe get behind
being
that.
seen in the Everglades, yeah, briefly. So I don't know. It's rumors, and I'm like, I need to look more into this. There's been no photographic evidence. There's been no like. I'm like, I need a little more. I need a little more than just that, because I don't know how I feel.
Well, it's not just that. There's actually been reports of I can't remember what type of dinosaur it is, but they've seen it by the overpass on what's that called, Gator Road or whatever it's called.
Alligator Alley.
Yeah, Alligator Alley. Yep.
There's been reports about I think it's I'm not sure if it's a pterodactyl. It's one of those flying dinosaurs.
Oh yeah, we've had Thunderbird sightings down there. Like that, I could totally go. I could jive with that, because Florida, South Florida, like something flying up from South America, getting off its path. I could believe, like a giant raptor in a place it shouldn't be. Yes, that I could totally. We do have, and not even just in the Everglades. We actually have all the way up into Georgia, like all the way up through northern Florida and up into Georgia. We have sightings of like alleged Thunderbird or pterodactyl type.
Loki, what's that? Loki BB? I don't know what he was saying.
Oh, that's the dinosaur from the Congo.
Oh, okay.
The one that stops the flow of water. So that I never pronounce this correctly. It's oh, forget it. I'm gonna butcher the crap out of it, and I've done it my whole life because I'm horrible at this. I'm slightly dyslexic, so I always move the things around. But basically, what that word represents is it stops the flow of water. So the dinosaur was so large, and still is believed to live in the Congo today. And I actually go after it myself. But the villagers that live with this creature named it this because they said when it actually goes across the river, which is a very large river near some of these villages, it actually stops the flow of the water. The water will actually stop as it passes through. And it basically looks like a small, like long neck dinosaur, smaller. But these cases of this particular dinosaur have been around since like the friggin' 1880s into the early 1930s with early exploration.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Fascinating case. I'm obsessed. I want one as a pet. Probably gonna get that.
I want a lot of things as a pet, like in cryptids, but that'll never happen. Maybe like, when I reincarnate, I could become a Bigfoot or something like that. That would be fun. I always wanted to be a Bigfoot. I think I was a Bigfoot in my past life.
Hey,
I don't know.
Could have been.
I don't know. It's just weird. It would make sense.
Or it could be like your spirit animal.
I don't know. Like
in all seriousness, I know a lady who went to like a shaman kind of medium, and they told her that her spirit animal is a Sasquatch, and then she has one who like is her guardian.
Yeah.
What?
So it could be.
I'm jealous. I want that. How do I get that? Like, I'd get stuck with Mothman. You know what I mean?
Mothman's cool though.
Come on.
Except for that poor statue. That poor statue gets stuff in his butt crack all the time.
Well, they designed him that way. Like, that's what the fudge? Like, that is not at all what Mothman was. I mean, now he's turning into like Chip and Dale Mothman out there.
Could you imagine Mothman looking at that statue and be like, disappointing?
Oh, yes. It's all wrong. All wrong.
He comes and like knocks it down.
Yeah.
Oh, he's back. And he like just destroys the memorial and flies off.
Man, Richie B says mine is a donkey. I could see that. I could see Richie's as a donkey. But I don't know. If I was a Bigfoot, I would mess around with people so much. knock on people's doors, throw rocks at their windows. When people are going to the bathroom, just start knocking like real hard at the front door. And so they're like running through the house when they're like with their pants around their ankles. Just like freaking mess with people. I would do that so much.
I sometimes sit there and go, I wonder what I would do if I was a ghost. Like, how fun would it be to be a ghost? Like, I mean, I feel bad for the person I would haunt because I would have way too much fun. Like,
I would like steal people's clothes and just like move them.
Do things to inconvenience them,
or their keys, like, or put them in the freezer. Put their clothes in the freezer, just for fun. And then like one day, like they get new clothes, and then they open the freezer and their like shirt is like freaking like like seriously, that would be pretty funny. I'm just saying.
I would befriend the kids and be like, okay, listen, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna prank mom and dad. You're going to tell them that I have no eyes and my mouth is dropped open and I rock in a chair in the corner all night long and I watch you sleep. Go tell mom and dad. I would sit there and do that. I would torment the parents, just be like, now you know.
I'd do fart jokes.
Besties.
I'd do like fart jokes and stuff like that. I would like, speaking about fart jokes. Okay. I got an idea for a Bigfoot caller. Okay. I've been wanting to save this up, especially for you guys, because I have an idea to call a Bigfoot call. All right. And I think it would be foolproof, honestly, because I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try this one day in the woods. I'm gonna do, you know, like when they have those big horns and they have those like Bigfoot calls and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yes.
Like instead of it being a Bigfoot call, it'd be just a big one, big fart. And you know, it would be interesting to see if you get some calls back, you know, from Bigfoot. Just saying, you know.
That would be interesting. Or you might call something else you don't want to go.
It'd probably be a bear or something, my luck. Or Wolfman or Mothman or some kind of man.
How does everybody feel about Wolfman? Like, how do you guys feel? I want to know somebody else's opinion on Wolfman.
I have an experience with it.
Oh.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
here in Cape Coral, Florida. We're actually filming. Me and my friend and his wife actually all saw this thing, but we're kind of think of it kind of as a skinwalker in a way, because when we were filming, it was like all dark. There's like no lights whatsoever, because it's called the Calusa Spook Light, this big ball of light that chases people out of the woods, and we've had a lot of experiences. We think it's part UFO or whatever it is. Pretty interesting stuff. But when we were in like middle of filming and stuff like that, his wife was like pointing the flashlight, and all of a sudden saw this big 8-foot tall creature that was like walking on the side of the road. No cars. It was just us filming, and they pointing the light, and broad shoulders, pointy ears, and like you could see the mouth, the teeth, the reflection, the eyes, really well. And his wife's like, do you see that? And we're like, what the hell is that? And all of a sudden it just disappeared right into the woods. Like just went pfft, and you could hear it going through the woods like a freaking freight train. That was the one experience I've had with Wolfman or Dogman, whatever you want to call it. It's pretty interesting. Yeah. I've known.
Was that near
people...
a graveyard?
No, not really. It was I'm trying to think of it's off of Burnt Store Road. There's a lot of paranormal stuff down there. I'm not sure what the lore is. I know there was like a big war there and everything burnt down. There was a fort, a Spanish war, and a lot of crazy. We've seen a lot of apparitions there in the woods and stuff like that. Slender Man, we've had tree knocks. We've had this ball of light chase us out of the woods, literally like this perfect ball of light that would just fly around and just sit there and then stop. And this light was really cool because you know how like a flashlight illuminates?
Yeah.
This didn't illuminate. It stayed like a crystal ball. And it just like went around like this. So we walked backwards and it was full of water, mind you, like it is rainy season. So there's nobody there. You would hear foot. If it was someone holding a flashlight, you would hear somebody. It was dead quiet. We went backwards. The thing started following us and chasing us. So when we went faster, it went faster. So we like walked a little faster and then it disappeared. Like as soon as we were like almost out of the woods, it just went back right into the woods. It was crazy as hell. Creepy, but crazy. And cool at the same time.
I would say so.
At one point, I was like thinking in my head, is this thing gonna freaking abduct me? Because if it was, I'd kind of be a little happy because I'd be like, well, I don't have to pay bills and stuff like that.
It was probably scanning you, honestly.
Could have been. It could have been doing something. I don't know.
It was doing a 360 scan.
That anything's possible, but we see a lot of that activity here, and like especially here in Cape Coral, Florida, like a lot of it in the woods. Like just, and we've had actually people tell us when they walk in the same area, they get chased out of the woods too, because they have no idea what the hell this thing is.
Makes me want to go to Cape Coral.
You're invited.
I'm serious. That type of stuff always fascinates me because I want to know what it is that's causing it. Like, what is the root? What is this thing? Like, what is it? Is it intelligent? Is it a phenomenon happening with gases? Like, it's fascinating to me.
It's interesting though that you bring up that section of Florida though, because I just had a guest on the show who lives down in that area, that Port Charlotte sort of area too, by Fort Myers, Cape Coral, and she was saying that she has seen some ships in that area. She is a psychic and a medium and connects, and that this one particular section, she always gets this feeling, and she believes that there is an alien base off of the shore in like the water. And so that's right on the water there. Yeah. Well, and that's right on the water there. So it wouldn't surprise me they're, coming and crossing over, because she said that it's coming from the direction of the Gulf, like when she's seen some of that. So not sure, but I have heard of some stuff going on down there.
Yeah, that I could believe in. Like all of my UFO work is based around water with USO activity.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I studied a lot and worked a lot. I mean, I still do. It's not like I don't do it still. But work with the military reports and the pilot reports of the sightings that we have on both coasts. And from here to the West Coast, there's something about the water that is fascinating in the sense of, when you think about it, it's like the best way of transportation. But in the 1980s, there was an actual scientific quantum physics, I believe, was like part of it, that they were discussing how when we see sea foam, basically within the sea foam are these tiny little ports of like oxygen that's trapped, and they're little forms of like just little bubbles, right? But within those bubbles are actual portals. And so they were able, and you actually pull this up on YouTube, the scientists talk about it's a breakdown for the 1980s. And this was big when Hynek was still really pushing and advocating with CUFOS to like, we need to understand more about water activity, like why these things are seen around water. Why do we have pilots seeing these things? And they broke down and were able to utilize the two chemicals and the oxygen level in the water in that sea foam and deeper into the water levels, and basically were able to open a type of portal. And it was a window of a portal for a very brief moment of time within the lab. And they said, if we were able to harness this energy, learn how to manipulate what we just discovered, and learn how to open it for a longer period of time than what we have, then anything could use water to travel faster, just as fast as the speed of light, to get from point A to point B and never be seen through water. So
and then they created CERN.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a fascinating study, and it was something I was always fascinated into, and applying that into my work as a ufologist with the water. I don't think that there's any bases on land. If you were to ask me, I think it's all underwater bases.
I kind of want to talk about that here in a second, because we got to take this quick break, but I definitely have to ask you a lot about UFO stuff, because I've been having this UFO craze since the whole drone thing and everything that's going on and all the crap that's been happening lately. And it's actually been, and then it goes quiet and then it comes back. But we'll talk more about that. But I do want to ask you guys, did you know there was a cheese race down a hill in England?
I saw that.
A cheese race?
Yeah, check this out. It'll blow your mind, but we'll check this out real quick and then we'll go back to
chasing
UFOs.
cheese turns into chasing an ambulance? This isn't just any hill. This is Cooper's Hill in England, home to one of the world's most dangerous and bizarre competitions, the annual cheese rolling race. Contestants sprint and more often tumble down a near vertical slope chasing a 9-pound wheel of cheese flying at speeds over 70 miles per hour. In this wild moment, one man completely lost control, flipping, rolling, and crashing his way down the hill like a human ragdoll. The crowd cheering like it's the Super Bowl. The risk? Broken bones, concussions, and total chaos. So, here's the real question. Would you risk your body for a block of cheese?
No. Absolutely not.
It's so bad. He
I
just
love
like
cheese.
flies off the frame.
Oh my.
Like people from around the world go to this thing in England. Like this is a yearly race. You actually win a block of cheese, a full round block of cheese.
You see, my toxic trait is that I think I could go and like win it. I feel
Oh
like, you know what I
God.
mean? Like, hold on, let me just warm up. All right.
Okay, first of all, best comment right there. Princess Bride, as you wish. Totally a Wesley moment, but he wasn't
Yeah.
chasing. But legitimate, that is like, no.
Okay.
Would you really do that, bro?
I do it in a Bigfoot
You
suit.
know, I would
You
take a
do it
different
a bit.
approach. You know, here's the thing. They're all making a mistake. Why not just go and scoot down the hill and like maybe try to like wear some swishy pants that's like a sled and you can just kind of gain that traction and just toboggan it down the hill.
I just go
And
down
then
the boulder. Like I
you're
just
just like
down. I'm just gonna
dodge
go
and
in the
leave it.
boulder in a Bigfoot suit saying I love cheese. Be like the first one like taking people out. I'd probably be like going in a stretcher afterwards.
They literally would have to deliver the cheese to you in the hospital.
Literally, there's people that like literally get knocked out conscious or break a leg, break ribs, freaking break their back doing this like yearly. It's a crazy and they practice for this too. Like they really, it's like it's
You have to.
it's
They
crazy.
need to work
Deal.
the practice training because not everyone in there had been trained.
I don't know. I love cheese.
These are your best guys.
Those wheels of cheese are like $200, so it's worth a few fractured ribs.
Oh my God, no.
I want to know what the grade of that hill is.
Oh, it's literally like this, and it has bumps too. So like your leg, like if you watch, there's some guys like flipping like nonstop.
Yeah.
Like look it up, cheese wheel race. When you're
Can't
done,
you like zigzag down the mountain this way? Like, why can't you run the line of like, why are they going straight down? Like,
Exactly. They're not, no strategy.
no, there's no strategy. Like,
you're literally
go to
supposed
that
to
mountain
run.
before you freaking go to roll some cheese. Be like, how am I gonna do this? Like, let's really.
Could
plan
you imagine getting taken out by that roll of cheese when the cheese is going down the hill with you and it knocks you out?
Do you want that?
That
on
would be a
gravestone?
got knocked out got killed by a cheese wheel.
That's some
Risked
haunted
it.
man shit right there. Like,
Oh man.
that's not, Grandpa was great, kids, until he wasn't, because he wanted that block of cheese.
And now I'm a single mom who has 2 jobs.
All for freaking cheese. I told him it was the cheese or me.
The cheese of me.
Cheese or me. That's insane. So
Oh,
70
man.
to 80 miles per hour.
Yep, you're going.
You die if that thing hits you in the head.
Well, you're doing that. Like, look,
What
let's
happens when
watch it
chasing
again
cheese
because it's
turns
too
into chasing
funny
an
here.
ambulance? This isn't just any hill. This is Cooper's Hill in England, home to one of the world's most dangerous and bizarre competitions, the annual cheese rolling race. Contestants sprint and more often tumble down a
Like,
near vertical slope
little-
chasing a 9-pound wheel of cheese flying at speeds
You'll
over
see this
70
guy,
miles
like,
per hour.
flying.
In this wild moment, one man completely lost control, flipping, rolling, and crashing his way down the hill like a human ragdoll. The crowd cheering like it's the
Here you
Super
go,
Bowl.
this
The
guy right
risk,
here.
broken bones, concussions, and total chaos.
He parkoured
So
that.
here's the real
He
question.
parkoured.
Would you risk your body for a
Look at
block
the
of
cheese
cheese?
rolling down. Damien said, "Oh, all right. Damien's here. He's from Scotland. He said he played the game before. Now, Damien, did you get hurt?
And if not,
Probably
how
did.
did you succeed?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. They also said the event has a high injury rate of 333 injuries per 1,000 contestants.
First
Of
of all,
course, it's that number.
333.
Yeah, I love how both of our faces at the same time.
What the
Yeah.
fudge?
Of course, it's that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Damien. Oh man, I do.
Scotland, brother. Like, you're up late.
Yeah, he just got. No, it's morning there.
It's morning for him now.
Yep, it's morning in Scotland. Oh, he said he was squished by a fallen body. Fallen body and not stomping human snowballs.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It does look like a lot of fun. It does. I would probably do it. I'd probably break something, but but it'd be fun. We all should do it.
Nope. I can cheer you on. Actually, I'll be the one filming with the drone.
I'll sponsor someone to do it. We can deck them out in like dark Florida merch and say,
There
all
you
right.
go.
Yeah.
right.
Why not?
And
We
then
can
have a
all,
dark
it can be,
Florida.
what it can be like NASCAR. We can just have like all of our logos on them so they can be like, oh, look at that guy. And it's just got like
Right.
all
And
of
then-
our stuff on.
Going down the hill in a Bigfoot costume.
Yeah.
He better freaking win, is what he better, so that our
Yeah,
name
better win.
We'll get him a
I want that
helmet.
I want that cheese. But anyways, let's go back to UFOs since we're talking about cheese.
I bet aliens like cheese.
Oh, I bet they do.
Right here.
You know what is interesting? Before we go into the conversation, I always wanted to like have a combo, like have them abduct me, and then like do like a conversation with them. Hopefully they don't probe me, but like just just have a conversation with them. Like, hey, how's it going? Where have you been all my life? Like, kind of like that.
It could turn out that way.
It could, or it could go really bad.
Well, there's been accounts
Yeah.
where people have, believe it or not, there are accounts out there where the individuals that were abducted never had any like strange surgical, any of that type of stuff done to them. I'm trying to put it in a PC way. Any of that done to them. But they were spoken to. They were shown the vessel. They were able to see where they were, somewhere in space, somewhere underground. So it wasn't always like a distress. There was a case of a woman, and let me tell you what. Oh, this totally was like core fear unlocked for me, especially as a mom. Her son kept saying, there's little people visiting us. There's little people visiting us. And she was like, okay, you just have an overactive imagination, because he was 3. One night she came out into her living room because she was hearing ruckus, thought he was up from his room, like in the living room, comes out, sees like a little tiny gray, but it was only like 3.5 feet tall. And then the next thing she knew, she said she turned to run to her son's room and she was knocked out, like from behind, like completely knocked out.
Wow.
Oh.
Wakes up and she's on the ship, wakes up, she's in a room, like a surgical type room on a bed. And she said, all I remember was there was a ton of grays around me, just a ton. They weren't speaking. They were looking at me, very engaged. She said, I wasn't in the middle of anything yet. And the one that was above her head looking down over her basically kept telling her, which again, horrible, kept looking at her, just said, if you just cooperate and you let us do what we need to do, you can go back with your son and everything will be fine. And she's like, what do you mean? Like in her head, it was like, my son is left alone at 3 years old in this house. How long am I going to be gone for? Like, she's freaking out. And so then another gray, telepathy, right, was talking to her through telepathy and basically reassured her that her son was fine, that he too was aboard the ship and he was with others. And I was like, no, absolutely not. Like, I would be trying to rip off this table. But they were like, we're trying to reassure you, he's fine. He is okay. He's having fun. We need to work on you. And so she was like, they didn't use like the same common language that we would use in the sense of like, everything is going to be okay. It was like very choppy language, like broken English in a sense is what she was saying. So she's like, I just cooperated. I let them do what they needed to do because I was so worried about my son. And then they're like, you're going to go back to sleep. She went back to sleep. She woke up in her bed and her son was laying right next to her in bed.
Wow.
Hours later, like huge time gap. And I was just like, either she had the scariest dream of her life, or they
That really happened.
legitimately took the son too for safety, did what they needed to do, and then brought them both back. And he was fine, like totally fine. Totally fine. And I remember hearing this case and thinking to myself, what would I do? Like, I remember reading it and like freaking out for like a solid week afterwards, like checking on my baby monitors, like.
Yeah, I'd be the
Freaking
same
out.
way.
Not when it comes to a story with kids. Like, that's when it starts to mess with me, because I'm like, eh.
Yeah, I have 3 girls, and I know it's tough.
Yeah. It's just scary, because that's like, some of these abduction stories can be scary, like horrifyingly scary. And then there's some where it's just like, they don't understand human emotion at all. It's been bred out of the graves. They're the workers, you know? So it's like, they're just here to do a job. And I think what scared me early on when I got into ufology was when I learned the percentage of, so in the abductees, the percentage of ORH negative was at a 15% in abductee cases. And I'm ORH negative. So I immediately was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't want to get more into ufology if this is a thing, you know? And so I was like, once you learn that, and like you're in that wheelhouse of some of the highest number of abductees, you're just like, you take a step back and you're like, okay. And then you're trying to figure it out, because there's variations of how they look. There's variations of who's who does what. But through every case, it seems like the grays are the workers. Like, they're here to do a job. No empathy. Let me get it done and move on.
The minions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just not as nice and funny and yellow.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Now, I want to kind of go conspiracy theory on you guys about this, because it's very interesting. Like, the whole, I'm going to play devil's advocate, okay? The moon landing theory, the whole moon landing theory, outer space, the stars, the universe, how vast it is, how big it's supposed to be, and also these UFOs that come out of water. Okay. Number one, everyone says that the whole moon landing and stuff was fake and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And all the other stuff, like the Challenger, the people survived in the Challenger and stuff. There's like people of like, there's photos of the people. I don't know if you've seen that.
Oh, I have.
The people, the teacher and all that. They're older.
I'm excited to see where you're going with this.
Okay. Now, all that and that said, you know, now people are saying all the moon landings, all that fake and everything and stuff. That's fake. This was fake. The whole Apollo thing blowing up was fake. Now, do we have an outer space? Or is our outer space the water?
Well, I really love, first of all, if people haven't, if people have not looked into like Stanley Kubrick and his role that he potentially played in faking the moon landing, so like the footage that we all see and that is commonly associated when you think of that, was likely. I've seen I really love the argument. All I'm saying is, if you've not you don't know about it, go down that rabbit hole. It's fun. And the rabbit, like the little clues that he potentially left in movies like The Shining. And it's really interesting, the rabbit holes that goes. So yeah. I am interested in that. I think that's really cool. I think anything is possible. I've seen some really good arguments as well for like space being water. And I think that's fascinating. And I think when you think about NASA and the Hebrew meaning behind NASA and some of the things that have happened around it, and just some of the perfect scenarios, like for example, look at the Space Origins trip that just happened with Katy Perry getting launched up into space. And how Jeff Bezos comes and he's like, all right, guys, I'm going to open up the store. And they're like, oops. And and she opens it and they're in space and they're just like looking fabulous and like so awesome and like no G-force at all. So it's interesting. It's interesting to say the least. I mean, I don't know. I think that what space is not what we have been told. At this point, I hate to say it, I'm one of those people, I question everything. I don't believe anything that we've kind of been indoctrinated to believe. I think that everybody should do their own research and just learn more about things. And, there's a lot of stuff going on. And if they lie to you about one thing, they'll lie to you about another. And I don't think it's quite what we have been told that it is. And I find it very intriguing and overwhelming at the same time. It's like, whoa, that's far out.
Yeah. Because if you think about it, you can only go so far through Earth's atmosphere because you'll be burned alive pretty much.
The Van Halen belt.
Yeah. So they say. But that's
so they say.
That's what I'm asking the question. Like, is outer space... Well, outer space has to be real because we see stars and all that stuff. But, like, the theory is, like, are we actually living in a world of the Matrix?
Well, I mean, and then you look at it like from like a biblical point of view, and in the Bible where it says he separated it from the waters above and the waters below. I think that's so fascinating, and the firmament and how sometimes it looks like something skidding across water. I think that that's very fascinating, and that the idea that stars are even like could be like fallen angels or something like that. That's interesting to me. I think that's a really interesting train of thought. But what also interests me is like a potential hollow earth situation where not, hollow earth, or that there's more land here that we're not aware of, especially when it comes, I know we're taking a little bit of a U-turn, but like to Antarctica, like that. Did you say flat earth?
Yeah, because of the wall in Antarctica, they're saying there's a wall and there's
more land, and you can't fly over it. Everybody, all the countries with the Antarctic Treaty. I just think that's so cool.
There was actually a video of a guy that had these long teeth that, like, I guess he got shunned from that world, and I wish I had the video because I saved it. I was gonna show it. I don't know if I have it, but I'll have to show it next time. But it's pretty interesting. Like, they talk about this flat earth theory. I don't know if it's real or not because like everything on the internet, you can't always like believe what they put out there. But it is interesting if you think about it in one thing. But the reason why I went in this route because like I wanted to go bring it back to the UFOs coming underwater. Like the reason why I called underwater or space is because I'm thinking they're coming from a portal underwater. From another, like, kind of like, I don't know if you ever watch like multi-universe kind of like thing, like, the Flash is like multiple universes. What if the aliens are just people like us, but different? They're just visiting us from that realm.
I mean, honestly, it's all very possible. Something to circle back with the theory of space being water. When various testings were being done from sounds coming from space, they had actually recorded what sounded like whale and dolphins coming from deep space. The sounds. Some scientists tried to combat this and say it's like a reverb, right? Sound going out, sound coming back. We're just getting a reflection from our own planet. However, I theorize that it's possible that there's another planet very similar, even though we have 400 planets that are like Earth within our own galaxy. It's my own theory and belief that there are other planets that house the same type of beings like us and animals like us. Because if you look at the octopus alone is said to have traveled here on a rock. It's considered an alien species to our planet. It should not be here. They don't know how it got here. And so for me, that's fascinating. Sharks have a longer lifespan on this planet versus anything else, including trees and land. So how did they get here? So there's fascinations of like when you look back at aquatic life versus, space and things like that. And the movement through space is a lot like water. So it's similar in a sense of the floating, and being able to move through time and space. But again, space is its own beast.
Yeah.
Because time and space and the relativity of time was created by man. So we really don't quite understand how space works. And when you talked about the Katy Perry piece, God love it. What was fascinating about it is that there were a lot of people that were like, there's no way, there's no way. But what I wanted to say on that was they don't have to go up to a burning atmosphere level. The halo jumpers go right to that very cusp and they jump out. They're pre-trained with oxygen to jump out of a plane to parachute from that high. They're the halo jumpers. If you don't know, they were huge with Red Bull. When Red Bull was out, they were sending these guys up to do it right at the cusp.
Those videos are crazy.
They're insane. But that's literally where he sends you. You're not going into any high. You're right at the cusp where you get to see the arch of the earth and then you drop. You're up there for maybe a total of 2 minutes, 3 minutes max. Do I believe they win? I'm not going to say. I got my questions. You know, this thing just came out of the sky. It's still going to be a little warm and you're just touching it and hugging on it there, buddy. Granted, it didn't come from complete space like a lot of our stuff does from NASA. That's a whole different. That's why they land in water, was to cool it, so they give it time before everybody shows up to retrieve and open the door. There's a whole process of why it has to land in water. His is like halo jumping. So, you know, you have a capsule that has enough oxygen in it to be up there and do what you're doing and take your seatbelt off and it's fine. But those guys are badass and they're trained to do this. And it's not something you just wake up one day and say, I'm going to go do halo jumping.
I'm a firework or
yeah, exactly.
That is something I will never wake up and say I'm going to go do. And if I do, someone check on me because I'm not me and I'm not okay.
100%.
No way.
So with that, I just think it's like false advertisement. It's like when Colossal was like, hey, we have dire wolves. Hey, no, you don't. That's kind of the scrutinize that they're going under right now. Because even Colossal just recanted everything. It's kind of the same thing, you know.
So it's kind of like, hey, I went to space. And it's like, hey, you kind of just went skydiving.
Yeah, exactly. You just went high altitude skydiving.
Right.
So that's why you look pretty. That's why your face isn't all freaking messed up. And it's just not the same process. It's like being in a... I mean, you can watch those videos on YouTube, how they travel in the plane all the way up there. I mean, I can't imagine doing that. Like, I would lose my freaking mind. But, you know, it's cool to me. There's so many conspiracy theories. And like you said, Brooke, I think my concern is that there have been individuals, and I always take this into account, there have been individuals who enjoyed creating falsified hidden gems for people to think that they were up to something or somebody was up to something just as a game, and they never confess even in their death. And I'm leery about too much conspiracy theory, because when people start jumping on another theory, it becomes a rumor mill and you'll never find the truth. Never. Because it just becomes a mess of a mess of a mess. And for me, I'm like you, Brooke. I like to investigate further to get more of an understanding of where did it come from. Like when you're playing phone, where did the first thing come? Let's go back to the root of this. Like, let's scrape off all this BS, especially nowadays with social media. Anybody can self-publish. I could come out tomorrow and tell you I broke the whole internet on what Mothman really was. I know it. I have every book. I have everything down to a jet, but I don't. That's just my opinion. But somebody would read that and be like, no, listen. And they'd get onto social media and you know what I'm saying? So like it becomes this train wreck as to what it used to be. It used to be fun to be like, oh, what's this case? I want to look into it. Now you've got like 30 people telling you what it is.
Wow. That's interesting, man. There's so much we could talk about in the whole UFO and everything, what's going on in this world. But I know it's only been an hour or so. We're kind of like out of time here. But before we do go, let's tell everybody before we leave and have a wonderful week here in Florida, sunny Florida, where they can find you guys.
Brooke?
You can Well, thank you. You can find me at Dark Florida Podcast over on Instagram, Facebook, Brooke Moreland, or the Dark Florida page. Yeah.
She's active, folks.
Yeah.
Very active.
Always see her on there.
On and popping.
Pop
You
a
are
lot.
too.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm not on TikTok as of right now because I want to see what happens with TikTok come June. I would hate to start a TikTok account and have them be like, guess what? It's not here in the US anymore. So
Yeah, I don't really TikTok. I do upload some things, but I'm mostly on Instagram like you.
that's me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying Instagram more in TikTok. Trying to do like little weird videos here and there, but it's fun.
I like
fun with
it. I absolutely love Instagram. Like I jumped on it in 2022, end of 2021, beginning of 2022, whatever. And I love it. Like I have so much fun with it. Like it's amazing. Bigfoot mask.
Yeah, you gotta have a Bigfoot mask.
We found them, guys.
It's done. Done deal.
We found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But where can they find you on Instagram? Brittany, you didn't tell us.
Sorry, I got distracted by the Bigfoot mask. So I am on YouTube. I've just started uploading a lot of my shorts, my reels. I'm going to start doing stuff on YouTube a little bit more. So YouTube and Instagram is Brittany_Barbieri_. But if you're on YouTube, it's just Brittany Barbieri. And then I have my website, BrittanyBarbieriOfficial.com. Kind of gives you my resume, my layout, where you can find me, what's going on, what I'm doing, who I'm collaborating with, and what's up. I work with CryptoZooies, which is cryptid pins, which are amazing. I do have that link in my bio on Instagram. But I recommend everybody, if you love cryptids and you love these little pins, if you have kids, if you have family, I have them all over everything. Like, no joke. Like, they are the cutest little things ever. So
I need one.
you got to get one. They're amazing.
One.
Mothman. I have them all. But CryptoZooies is great. Go to CryptoZooies. I also am with Ghost Hunt Supernatural Apparel, ghosthunt.co on Instagram. Go there. They'll hook you up. I know Squatch. And I waited until this podcast, Animal, because this is huge and I'm super pumped about it. It came to me from Walter from UFO Education on Instagram. Their UFO board game.
What?
I love it.
They sent one to Ben Hansen and I from our work together, and I am so pumped to freaking open this bad boy up and play the cases.
Send me the date. I'll be over.
I'm telling you,
I'll bring snacks.
It's so exciting. Look them up. Everybody who's watching, look them up on Instagram.
I'll have to check it out.
They're kickstarting this and getting it out and going. So this is like the very first one. I cannot wait.
I want one. I want one so bad.
I'm telling you, head over there. UFO Education on Instagram. You'll know it's them. It's got a little circle with a UFO in it. Just simple words. UFO Education. I'm so pumped. I'm gonna make a reel about it too. But yeah.
Sweet. And there's also one more thing you forgot, Brittany. One more thing.
I always forget.
The Lost Animal Files.
Oh yeah. Oh, I have more news on that too. I'm sorry. There's so much going on, guys. Like, I'm so sorry. Yes. So Lost Monster Files, you can see us on Stream on Max, so HBO and Discovery Plus. But in June, we are also going to be airing on Animal Planet. And we are constantly on Travel Channel as well. But we will be airing on Animal Planet. So that's going to be 4 locations. But if you want to watch the whole first season, head over to Discovery Plus and stream on Max, the HBO Max app, and you'll find Lost Monster Files. If it says Ivan Sanderson, that's us. And then I know Brooke will yell at me if I don't say this. So
you better.
I know what you're gonna say. So come July 27th, right? 27th is the right day. Yep.
Yes.
July 27th in Gatlinburg. I'm going to be hosting a 101 Mothman session at the Bigfoot conference with Gather Up there in Gatlinburg for the day. I will have a booth set up with the Lost Monster Files, and I will be hosting a lecture on 101 Mothman, which
wow.
Yeah, so it'll be fun. It's just a lot. I'm ready for a vacation, and I don't know when that's going to ever happen. Oh, and then also, I forgot this too. I want to plug this. I am on the board of directors with the Crocodile Research Foundation. If you guys are interested in getting involved with animals and wildlife and conservation and how we can find ways to be a part of it, you can head over to on my Instagram in my links is the Croc Research Foundation website. Head over there. You guys can find out how to get the CRC in Belize, which is our other relationship, the Crocodile Research Coalition in Belize. They work around the clock, and they always love having volunteers. Anyone who wants to come down and have the hands-on experience with the American crocs and the crocodiles in Belize, you're more than welcome. There's programs, ways to do it. There's going to be expansion coming up for the CRC, which is going to be huge. So just a lot happening there, and we're just pushing it and having a lot of fun with it. And it's going to be great. It also will incorporate cryptozoology, because we will be branching into areas where animals are being seen but not documented. And so that will also incorporate bringing cryptids back into zoology where it starts.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. That's awesome. I am so excited. This was such an amazing show. Like, this was really good. This was a good ending to the month, honestly, before I head to Massachusetts. It was a really good show.
Fun up there, by the way.
Oh, heck yeah. It's going to be fun. We're going to go bigfooting. I'll be speaking. I'll be having my show, so watch me live there. So it'll be a lot of cool stuff. We're hanging with a lot of amazing, cool people up there. So there'll be a lot of cool stuff up there, hopefully. So I'm excited.
That's amazing.
But
I can't wait.
We're going to end this show with a trailer of the Lost Animal Files. So we're going to check that out real quick, and I'll see you guys in the back room once the show ends. Check this out.
In the mid-20th century, scientist Ivan Sanderson set out to separate fact from fiction. He investigated hundreds of frightening encounters with unexplained creatures around the world.
Our next guest tonight is one of the world's leading naturalists, accumulating material for some 30 years.
As the founder of cryptozoology, he built the most extensive archive of unclassified creatures on Earth.
There seem to be a lot of these creatures in our continent, in South America, in Africa, and all over Asia.
But following his death in the 1970s, that archive disappeared. Until now. Armed with modern tech and Sanderson's lost research,
we need to take this and compare it to what's in the archives.
A team of experts will reinvestigate his unexplained cases using up-to-the-minute research and predator expertise.
I've never seen wildlife do this. There's nothing like that should be doing that here.
Holy. Can Sanderson's files lead to an incredible new insight and take another creature from myth
Did you see that?
to reality?